Hey, it's Vegas, and I love grotesque shit. More specifically, body horror. It's like an aesthetic for me. The Thing, The Fly, The Shining, all great popcorn flicks start with the. Directors like Kubrick, Cronenberg, Carpenter, all made a career off their terrifically unique ideas. I don't know, there's just something about it for me that's just peak cool. Using the world's smallest budget to make something out of this world. From scratch. Now obviously I can't make the next indie cult classic, so I did the next best thing I could do and played an indie cult classic. Originally coming out in 2008, Dead Space was an instant hit. Taking inspiration from the Resident Evil and Silent Hill games, it's easy to see why. Now, I was never really into horror games. A lot of them coming out nowadays personally make me feel helpless with its controls, focusing on the fear that causes players. And personally, I don't like it. And I had always known about Dead Space. It's always been on my radar since it came out, but I just never got around to playing it. Honestly, that's like a reoccurring theme for my channel. Seriously, I failed the only test designed for me to pass. But I guess EA heard my incessant whining because they came out with a definitive version of the game. Adding quality of life improvements like giving the main character an actual voice, mechanics that weren't thought of until the sequels, and adding variations to levels and even a secret ending for longtime fans of the series. All while keeping the spirit of the original game. At least that's what Jacksepticeye said. I don't know, just looking back on it, Dead Space always reminded me of one of those arcade shooters. You know what I'm talking about? This is just a yassified version of this shit. I've said this about games many times before, but Dead Space is truly right up my alley. Playing Dead Space is like playing through the movie Alien. Tight corridors and little to no lighting keep you checking over your shoulder, and that's obvious. But if we peel back the layers a little bit, you start to see some hidden details.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Paying homage to iconic pop culture is a quick way to build instant familiarity with the player. Hey, this reminds me of that, therefore I like it. Not to be confused with fan service, mind you, Dead Space still uses its art design to build an atmosphere wholly its own. Take a look at its set pieces. Designed to be reminiscent of an 80s sci-fi movie, yes, but also designed to make the player feel a sense of hopelessness. Exposed wiring, explosive barrels just lying around, railing that anyone could fall through at any time. Nothing about this ship was safe even before these abhorrent abominations arrived. And that coincides with the game's mechanics as well. How do you make a player scared to go inside a room? Have the player witness what could lie on the other side. How do you keep them in a room so as to load the next zone seamlessly? Have the ship's own quarantine system lock them inside and force them to conquer their fears. Look at that, more friendly game design. People praised God of War for their seamless camera when Dead Space did it back in 2008. Of course, the visual aspect of this game is nothing without the audio side of it. It's in the horror genre after all, and what is the most infamous trope connected with the horror genre but the jump scare? The perfect concoction of audio and visual stimuli causing us to literally jump out of fear. Love it or hate it, this trope works best in a video game. Five Nights at Freddy's, Outlast, basically any first-person game based on some sort of cryptid. While it pains me to say it, Five Nights at Freddy's is a masterclass in the jump scare. Because it only happens due to the player's mistakes. Forget to check the camera, leaving the door open, and letting the monster get too close results in a heart-stopping death screen, fueling the player to try harder solely because they feel like they're stuck in this situation. Hello. I'm a Republican. But Dead Space is different in the sense that it doesn't jump scare you, really ever. Matter of fact, it makes you feel like you're about to get jump scared at every turn due to its sound mixing. Which is perhaps worse. But to understand what I mean, I feel it's important to analyze a scene from one of my favorite cosmic horror movies, The Void.
Yeah, get out some other way.
Shit, I forgot about it.
Building suspense is easy when all of your characters are in the same boat as the viewer. Everyone is trying to reach the same goal. Now, I'm not going to spoil The Void for you. Just know that this scene takes place in the middle of the movie and acts as its turning point. Our main character is thrust into a situation where everything is going wrong and is forced to react the only way he knows how, inadvertently getting his friend murdered because he can't save everybody, falling headfirst into a hellish, black abyss of uncertainty. All of this leading up to our first true encounter with the grotesque horrors plaguing this picture. And I'm just gonna cut to the chase here, but it's my favorite scene because of its sound design. Every sound effect, when played together, creates a chaotic storm of dread, which is then instilled inside the viewer. You're scared not only because of the ferocity of what you're looking at, but also because you don't know what you're looking at. The Void isn't a masterpiece by any means, but a puzzle piece for you to decipher, story-wise, but also from a technical aspect. What is this thing, and how did they make this look so real? The basis of cosmic horror, the unknown. The developers of this game knew that going in. This is evident in how the sounds of Dead Space blend together to create atmosphere. I don't know how, but whenever I played this game with headphones, it always sounded like an enemy was right behind me, even when I knew they weren't. Maybe that's by design, or I just need to buy new headphones, I'll never know. But I'll tell you what, I never wanted to play a game with headphones in the darkness of my room until I played Dead Space, so I guess they're doing something right. Games like The Last of Us is the only other horror game I played, and a big part of why that game works is because of how easy it is to put yourself in the shoes of Joel, the character you're playing as. You don't want to die because dying's scary, and probably so are Joel's views on gun rights. So you do everything you can to mind your surroundings so you can see the story through to the end. Dead Space is the same way. I think we get scared because of the characters. We either don't want to die or we don't want them to die. Isaac talks now and the other characters talk to him. We get to see his ingenuity, how when there's a problem, he knows just how to solve it. You're connected to the main character by how plot presents itself in an immersive, atmospheric manner. Dead Space is full of quiet, albeit perverse, discovery. It's far less action-heavy than other games that I feel are cut from the same cloth, especially ones that came out in the same era. If you don't know, Dead Space became a trilogy after EA bought out the original studio developer. Sure, some good things came out of it, like the introduction of Gunnar Wright as Isaac, but the sequels, to some fans, left them disappointed in the direction they chose to take, opting for heavier action and bigger set pieces rather than sticking to what made the original a cult classic, something that even now gained a new fan due to its truly iconic atmosphere. I could go on and on, but for the interest of not making this video longer than it needs to be, I'm just gonna let the master of cosmic horror play us out. Oh, what the fuck?